Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, March 9th. Heather here, and we are taking a look at the futures. I have the futures here, and look at what we are experiencing is some support here at the 50. This is something we talked about last week. We talked about it here pretty extensively yesterday, and our futures are showing us that this 50 is a pretty decent area. Now, I was talking to some friends from the room and some people that used to trade with us but now went back to work, and talking with them last night and about, well, you know, they're convinced that the market's getting ready to roll over and that's why we're testing the 50. And you know what? Maybe they are right. But what if they're not? So they're starting to look to short plays, not short stock, but looking to just put plays across some of the larger names, which I think it's one of those things that's very premature because we don't yet know. Now, I went over the charts with them last night, and I'm like, okay, yeah, so we can see we're moving on up pretty nicely here. And I'm going to pull this out just a little bit longer because I think this is important. This was the low last year. This was when kind of everything came crashing down. Everybody was closed down. All of travel was closed down. People were out of jobs. You couldn't go into restaurants. You know, it was like a train wreck, right? I mean, it came on so fast, and we took this dive within a few weeks and hit those lows. So on the futures, that was a 21.74. Where are we now? It has been a year, not even a full year. Isn't that crazy? Now, it's been a full year since the downfall started, but here's where we turned it around, was on the 23rd of March. Do you see anything other than an uptrend at this moment? And I say that because I think so often we get dialed into these candles and we kind of forget the bigger picture. Well, if you are ever in doubt of what that bigger picture might look like, go to a weekly chart. Now, this doesn't apply to someone who's just day trading and, you know, scalping in and out of stuff or playing off of news, because those things come and go, and then everything kind of, you know, news will hit and then it falls back in, you know, whatever name will fall back into their normal trend, unless apparently you're a meme stock like GameStop and then nothing makes sense. But for the most part, names, they might have some news, or they have some earnings, or they have an event, whatever that is, whatever that catalyst is, it goes away and we fall kind of back into our pattern. And I guess what I'm saying here is, if you look at the longer term, look on this, and here I am, I'm going to draw. And I know that this is taking up a little bit extra time this morning, and I apologize, kind of. I think it's really important to keep all of this in mind. But this is what we see. Up. Took a break. Up. Taking a break. So although we could look at this and say that we have some fair flags on the daily candle, the weekly isn't yet telling us that. And we've come back and tested some pretty good support lines, and it's telling us, well, maybe not yet. Now, we are going to get that stimulus out. There is no doubt now that that is going to come out. When I will be more concerned is after that part is done. Once the Fed decides, okay, we're in a good spot, we can start raising interest rates. You know, they were not as aggressive in their last talks. They were much more vanilla. There was no rocky road about it. In fact, they weren't even vanilla with chocolate sauce. They were just vanilla, because they're waiting for the market to decide. That, you know, we can't just keep printing money. That's just not, that is not a reasonable expectation. But now that we do have these vaccines coming out so fast, they really are. We have so many of them. They're coming out fast. And whether or not you think that they're being distributed the right way or not, people are getting vaccinated, right? People are getting out there. States are opening up. And so when you buy into a stock today, and again, catalyst aside or day trading aside, but if you're looking for a swing trade, when you buy a stock today, what you're buying is what's going to happen in the future. That's where your institutions buy, your big money, your activist investors. They're not looking for what's happening right now. They're looking for what's going to happen. right? If you know winter's coming, do you wait until January to go out and buy your boots? Probably not. You're like, huh, it's going to snow at some point. I'm going to go. Think of it the same way, okay? So look at that when you are buying stocks in the bigger picture. Don't get freaked out by the day-to-day slop. And it is sloppy right now. It is hard to trade. It is like sitting on one of those old wooden roller coasters where you go up a little, down a little, up a little, down a little, up a little, down a little. By the time you get off, you feel like you have whiplash. That's what we have going on. Okay, so enough about that. Futures, Dow futures looking up about 100 points. The Nasdaq futures making a nice strong stand here. Again, we didn't put in an inside candle yesterday, but we're starting this little climb up. We're making some higher lows. What I want to see now, higher highs. And we did make a higher high yesterday, but today we want to see that push on up and make yet another higher high and build some volume. We want the volume. We want those buyers to step back in and start buying those big tech names again. And your names like your Apples, your Googles and stuff, those, are they in a good spot to buy for longer term? Probably. I'm going to look to add to my Apple. Now I have Apple long in shares. And I'm going to look to see if we find a little base here and get in at a good price, because overall, once the stock split, it got quiet. The stock just kind of got like melted vanilla. Now we have a vanilla milkshake. Okay, so moving on. Yesterday, Disney, we had just a messy market overall, but look at what Disney did. Big volume, gapped up, pushed, and closed high of day. Looking for a little bit of a pullback on this. Still, to try and add some shares, I would love a pullback to about the 198 area. I'm not sure I'm going to get that, but looking to add shares into Disney. It definitely has to be over 201.90. That was the close of yesterday. If it doesn't pull back to that 198, I want it to be around that 201, like looking to exceed that to get into it. But those will be shares. I know a lot of you got out of Disney shares yesterday with Nate. It's just an amazing trade there. You guys did a great job. A lot of good trades yesterday, actually. Okay, DraftKings, we talk about this one later in the afternoon. Big push up off of the 50 yesterday. Quiet candle. Very quiet, pretty okay volume, but definitely an inside candle here. I like the look of this morning. I think it's moving. It's gapping up just a smidge there. It is. It's at 63. I like DraftKings. I'm going to push these out to 521. So May 21st, 65 here. Anything over the 8, and I want it to hold the 8. I would say as a stop, if you're looking for a stop, anything below 15, a close but below 59.45 would be a very good stop there. Verizon, watch this yesterday. I'm gonna look, watch Verizon as well. Would love to see, again, another one. Would love to see this come back and pull back to the 50 and then make the run to the 200. Didn't quite set that one up yet. The bid and ask were kind of funky on Verizon when I looked, so I'm going to take a little pause on that, but put that one on your watch list. People getting out, coming back to NCLH. We had this gap down. Yesterday it came right back inside that candle. Good volume holding in. Anything moving into that gap, I like NCLH, pushing these out to June 18th, 30s. Oh, here's a couple that I think are interesting. CSX, one of the guys in our room used to trade this all the time, and he's been kind of quiet on it. But CSX, look at this. We've kind of hung around here. We have a nice tight moving averages. The 3 crossed up over the 8 yesterday. The 20 crossed up over the 50. So this spring has been really coiled up nicely. We had some nice volume. I like CSX. I'm going to push these out to May. So May 21st, 90s. And I want this, the 90s and the 95. So we'll kind of take a look right now. I'm looking at the 90s. I definitely want it to be over yesterday's close, but I may wait until we get over this 93.75 area and kind of push through some of this, these little stragglers up here. So CSX, looking at the 521.90s. Dow, so Dow Chemical, love the triple top on this. Like anything over, I'm going to go ahead and just say 74 on these. The 416.65s, or you can push those out longer, but kind of that 65 range I think is a good one here. But I looked at the 416s. It's just, there's a lot of open interest there, but nice, just kind of following up. We touch back, we push, we touch back, we're pushing. So looking for a break of that triple top. Okay, that is it for me today. I hope you have a fantastic day. If you have any questions, reach out, Heather C. at givingtreetrading.com.